Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot and welcome to your readings for the full moon in Capricorn, 24th of July. Obviously, these readings are meant to cover the 2 weeks, the 4 weeks, or the 6 and a bit months, or just under 6 months, isn't it? From the full moon in Capricorn back to the new moon in Capricorn, which will be sometime around Christmas. I should have looked that date up before I started. So, as ever, it's a general reading. General reading rules apply. Do not give away your power to a tarot reader. In these readings, there's 2 rows of cards. The top row represents the archons trying to suppress you, and the bottom row represents the gods themselves trying to lift you up, reconnect you with the divine. By their very nature, they are dramatic. So take it all with a pinch of salt and just bear in mind that I can't necessarily be reading for everybody. So there is a timestamp in the description below because I'm going to discuss the full moon itself first. But I've put the timestamp there, so if you want to not ignore my waffle, you can jump ahead to the reading. I won't be offended much. But I would say watch your sun, your moon, and your rising. Now, I'd say the moon because that would normally deal with the emotional stuff, but it's a full moon. It's a lunar reading. Go and look at your moon. Especially with this one, because there's a little something I want to bring up about not just the full moon, but what happens the day before, the day as I am filming this now. Now, as ever, there is a link down there in the description for the Facebook group for this Facebook page for this channel. Basically, it's got an inbox. So if you want to contact me for a personal reading, that's one of the best ways to do it. There's a link tree down there that will take you to all of my different social media, but Facebook's the best way. I am trying to grow the channel, so any subscriptions or pressing of like buttons would be greatly appreciated. And of course, if you haven't caught it, I will be, or well, by the time this goes live, I will have already done a show with astrologer David Fisher, where we're discussing the ins and outs of the full moon in terms of Hellenistic astrology. I've got some other things that I wanted to point out. Now, I am really, really excited about this full moon. I'm sure there was something else housekeeping I had to say. Now it'll come to me. Oh yeah, you can ask a question before you're reading if you want. I don't think it's the sort of reading where you're necessarily going to get an answer, not like my monthlies or some of my other readings. It's just a general look at the forces that are around for you to take advantage of or dodge, whichever way you want to look at it. Right. So this is the first full moon after the eclipse seasons. Now, if I bring my notes up so I can remember what I'm talking about, this is the degree here is ruled by, I always struggle with these, Yael, who is all about letting go and mental force. But the degree angels, which I've not mentioned on these videos before, the degree angels also control a 5-degree arc each. So this 5-degree arc is ruled by Mabahia, who is about putting thought into action, who is about intellectual lucidity. And Yael is about, as I said, letting go, mental force. That puts a lot more context into this full moon, whereas we have been working so very hard to plan and to decide and to find ways to move forward. We've discussed this on the astrology shows with David. We've discussed this in the readings. That's setting your plans up, getting all your ducks in a row, all of that preparation work. Now it's time to do it. When you know there is that thing that you want to let go of, now is the time to let go of it. I know you'd normally say that new moons are good for letting go and full moons are about completion. And that's what I'm talking about, the completion of the letting go process that we have already started into motion. Now, as well as the 5-degree arc, The decans themselves are ruled by the goetic spirits, the known as the 72 demons that Solomon summoned. Although I would question whether the term demon for them is actually fair. I think it's a bit harsh, but it's what they've been known as for at least 500 years, if not more. So by day, this is ruled by the goetic spirit Berith. So, quoting from Michael Ford, in an initiatory context, Berith may be a tool in the understanding of self, including the alchemical process of turning of gold, i.e., coming into being more, strengthening your form, the fiery essence of self. Berith is proves to be a powerful goetic servitor that you can summon to guard while going through some introspective rites. Now, we've been going through these introspective processes for, well, quite some time, let's be honest. And so again, it's rubber stamping that idea of, you knew you needed to let go of this thing, time to let go, time to put your plans into action, time to be you to the best of your ability. Now, by night, it is ruled by Flauros, or as I would know him, Horus. Now, he's one of the traditional 9 demonic divinities in traditional demonolatry, and he's described as typifying the perfect balance of physical, mental, and spiritual consciousness. So there's that, again, that coming into yourself and finding the whole, being true to yourself aspect, the whole this is who I know I am, and that bit there, I don't need it anymore, it's not me anymore, let's go, because I'm going along on this new path. Now, I am excited about this full moon also because of something that happened the day before. The day before, there was a near perfect 4 points of a pentagram in the sky. So let me just bring that up for you to see. Hopefully you'll be able to see the aspect lines, because they're quite faint. Solar Fire does them in a colour I find it really hard to see. But you notice the moon, Jupiter, Uranus, and Venus, which is a beautiful selection of planets. You've got the love and value of Venus, you've got the making things bigger of Jupiter, you have that emotional, in this term, it's what do I feel strongly about, and how can I make those things that I feel are beautiful in my life bigger? How can I make those things that I value in my life bigger? And then there's Uranus, which Uranus always causes upset, but on this particular point, I think if the unexpected occurs, it could only be bringing good news. Now, by the time we come to the full moon itself, you notice that near pentagram is split up into 2 sets of 3 3-pointed pentagrams. However, the Solar Fire doesn't do aspects, or at least I can't make it do aspects, to Black Moon Lilith. So we have Mars, Moon, and Black Moon Lilith taking action to heal hurt feelings, is how I'm reading that, and how I would want to read that. Bear in mind that Mars at the moment is being ruled by the goetic spirit Beleth, who is there's a certain sense of Beleth plays with time. There's a certain sense of immediacy here, but it's almost like you can take this energy and pocket it for a short while. And then the final three-pointed pentagram is again Venus, Uranus, Jupiter. So something unexpected about that which you value and can be made bigger, which I think is still beautiful, but especially coming off of that pentagram the day before. Now, I'm also very excited about this because the final point of that pentagram would be pretty much 4, 5, 6 degrees Libra. Guess whose moon is at 6 degrees Libra? So I am looking to take full advantage of such a beautiful astrological combination. Now let's just have a look before I go into the cards, because I got told off on comments about a long introduction to another reading that I did. So I don't want to waffle for too long, but the symbols of 3 degrees Capricorn and this full moon are also very interesting. I remember what really grabbed my attention is the Kosminski degree symbol, which is of Persephone rising gracefully from beneath to the upper world. The sun is shining and the surrounding country is rich in fields of corn, fruit, birds, flowers, whilst butterflies are sporting round her head. Now, I suppose according to the legend, that would not be directly true because spring doesn't start until Persephone comes up and Ceres or Demeter goes, you're back, and starts letting things happen. But it is still a beautiful image. So this is said to denote one of great power of endurance who forces himself, ill or well, to brush away obstacles in the way of his desires. What was I saying about letting things go? There is here a combination of mental, moral, and physical force, bringing us back to the idea of that rulership of Hares. A trinity which carries the native through danger and conditions most adverse. At birth, the soul is rising from the shadows, and as life advances, the temples of enchanting lights are reached, and constancy begets deathlessness. It is a symbol of perseverance. So, if you haven't started your 2021 plans, your post-2020, post-eclipse, post-Great Conjunction plans, get moving. Now is the start. So let's have a look at the Sapharial degree symbol, which is of a Vestal lamp burning brightly, an indication of an elevated and superior mind given to the study of things that are essentially spiritual. There's that other part of Hare's dominion here. There are aspiration and intuition in a superior degree. That's not easy to say. And such a one will probably seek and find in the silence of his own chamber the key to many of the higher mysteries of life and thought. So again, it's that looking internally, expressing externally. As within, so without. This is, do not let this full moon energies go to waste. Now, the Chandra symbol, or the inside degree symbol, is more curious, but I really like it because you will hear all the New Agers, and I get very bored with the New Agers, and with the New Age, sorry. That's not the New Agers, the New Age, because it's, we're living in such a special time. We are always living in such a special time. If you are living, it is a special time. Certainly for you and to a point globally, but we cannot deny there's big global things going on. So we have all been training for this moment. So Capricorn 4, the 4th degree of Capricorn, i.e. 3 degrees Capricorn. The Chandra symbol is footprints in the snow. And it's talking about how you were following your own footsteps. In the last previous lifetime, you set into motion a very full karmic momentum, which only got to midstream. This time, you first recapitulate the previous patterns and then set out where they lead. All of it, every step feels fated, inevitable. It is an uncannily strong inward impression. Yet, in order to permit the soul of this lifetime some measure of autonomy and freedom, this knowledge is held in the superconscious mind, and you can then cast about as though nothing had happened before, if you want, except that the inward instincts direct you in a predetermined course. And the lessons and the scenes are so very familiar. So blah, 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 when the individual karma is this strong. But we know this. I mean, let's be honest. If you're watching one of my readings and watching tarot readings on YouTube and all the other stuff, we know that we have practiced for this. And even if you accept like Dolores Cannon's 3 Waves of Volunteers, we have been practicing for this. And the now this is the Omega symbol, I think. As a cliff erodes, a temple is in danger of collapsing. Now, okay, there's a tower imagery, tower card imagery there, but there's also what it also talks about that Saturn-Uranus square we've got going on. The description to this says it needs change. And when they do, structures that may have depended on a long time, that may have been depended on for a long time, need to change as well to meet these new needs. That's it, needs change. Right, that makes sense. This is what this degree is aware of. It taps into the undercurrents of feeling and can see how those things are eroding the landscape of human thought. At its best, it's capable of suggesting means of change that take into the account the long range and which are practical. And again, we have practiced for this. Can you tell I'm really excited about this? I never thought I'd be excited about a Capricorn thing, but when you look, everything that Capricorn threw at us last year, the Jupiter-Pluto conjunctions, the building up to the great conjunction with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, various other things, eclipses last year and all that. This is beautiful. This is Pluto, who's there in Capricorn, going, okay, here is the end of it. Now, bear in mind, this full moon is a long, long away from Pluto. Pluto's at 26 degrees. The full moon's at 3 degrees. So it's co-present by sign. But Pluto's allowed everything to come full circle. And it's almost like he stepped to one side and said, there you go. I've done my work now. You crack on with starting the new things. And I will just check your work as you go past. But everything will be fine. Don't worry. You crack on with it. And so that's what I want to say with this full moon. Whatever it is, you crack on with it. There's all this creative energy around with Venus quintile Uranus, Venus quintile Jupiter. There's all this healing energy around with the quintiles between the moon, Mars and Lilith. There's that, especially if you've got early degrees of Libra planets, there's that energy from the pentagram the day before. This cannot be a bad thing if you take advantage of it, but you take advantage of it with self-knowledge. You take advantage of it after having really dug down on the inside and saying, is this what I want? Is this a bit of me I still want to be? What do I need to let go of? And let's already make sure that this full moon is the final letting go of those things. They will come back again. Of course they will. They will come back again for you to be able to walk straight past them and say, no, I've let go, I don't care. because that's how it works. You know, they so when all these things that you've let go of pop their head up again in like 1, 2, 3 months, years time, it is there to say, huh, have you let go? Really? And if you use this full moon energy right, the answer is a resounding yes. Yes, I have. Now, this is before I've done the show with David, so that's how I'm reading the full moon, purely on the basis of the angels and the demons that are involved here, and some of the aspects, but minor aspects. We'll see what David makes of it. In the meantime, I'll bring your cards up in a second. If you want a personal reading, don't forget that Facebook link. Please feel free to share the video because it helps, and press the like button because it helps YouTube notice I exist, which I'm not sure it has yet, really. In the meantime, yeah, let me bring up the cards. Okay, Gemini, and as I said in the introduction, this top row are the masks worn by the Archons as they try to separate you from your divine purpose and your joy and your higher vibrations and all that. And this bottom row is the actual gods themselves lifting you up. And what I want to draw your attention to here is that we have Themis twice. We have Themis with natural order here from the Mythic Oracle, and from the Greek mythology reading cards, we have Themis with cosmic order. There's this real sense of what you believe is right. What you believe, no, it's not just right, it's what you believe is right and beautiful. And when I say beautiful, beauty in action, beauty in spirit, beauty in intent. Because it's almost like there's some form of conflict going on around you that threatens to try and change you. Don't be drawn in. What we have as the Archontic masks, we have Aries with war, Thanatos with death, Baba Yaga with authenticity. I'll come to that one. Hephaestus with workmanship and Inanna with seduction. And here it's someone's trying to get their way with you, to get you to engage in some form of debate, battle, conflict, argument. They're asking you to take a stand in a fashion that you do not want to take a stand. And they're saying everything will change if you don't. Well, everything will change if you do as well. You know, so, hey, change is coming. You know, there's no big shakes. The one thing we can rely on is the constancy of change. But you are protected here with Anubis against that war, that conflict, that headstrong action that threatens to upset your equilibrium and upset your own sense of what is right and beautiful. And also, we have at the very end of the Gods Row, Skadi with atonement. And what I want to say about the atonement factor is you are being invited to repeat a previous mistake. By not engaging with whatever this conflict is, you are setting right that previous mistake, and you are demonstrating Melahel here from the Oracle of Heaven and Hell. You are demonstrating that you have healed, or that you are healing, or that you are demonstrating healing. You are getting healed by saying, no, I'm not doing that again. I do not want to go there again. No, there's no point. I've done it once and it ended badly, and it ended badly for everybody concerned. It ended badly for them and it ended badly for me. I am not doing that again. And that, I believe, is the point that you need to go for. And they will try. They will try to convince you, oh, but I need your help here. Everything will change. Everything will die. But the Baba Yaga card that I said I would come back to. Baba Yaga is now seen as the woman who goes around in the hut with chicken legs and devouring children. She used to be an adversary to heroes, not as in she was the villain, but she would combat the heroes to make sure the heroes got better at fighting her and anybody else. She was a think PT instructor, think personal trainer, think combat instructor. She was not initially an evil being, but over the last couple of centuries, certainly, her reputation has been tarnished into believing she is the evil being that she was pretending to be in the ancient legends. So I'm worried if this conflict that you are being invited to partake in, don't do it. But especially if it is to do with less than definite facts, more about the more ephemeral idea of reputation, and you are being drawn into something because somebody believes that so and so has a reputation for. Now, whether that is, you can do it whether it's in the workplace, whether it's in the family, whether it's in the home, whether it's the community. One example that springs to mind, although I think this is maybe a little extreme, is you suddenly have asylum seekers settling in your area, and the general feeling is, oh my God, they're an invader. They're going to bring the property prices down. They're going to bring this. They're going to bring that. They're going to bring drugs. They're going to bring crime. The normal crap that people come out with whenever there is a something that's not like them introduced into the environment. And that may be what the basis of this call to action that you need to ignore is, because there's quite possibly a reputation here that's not true, that is not deserved, not necessary. Right, let's add the tarot here, because that can really get me off on one, that whole sense of prejudgmentalism. But basically, Gemini, you're really good at picking things apart and observing. And I think there is an element of, if there is this battle around you, I think that's all the cards I'll need. If there is this battle around you, your job in that battle is to observe and not get involved, because you've been involved before and it didn't end well for anybody. So, Page of Swords, Six of Swords, Hanged Man, Knight of Swords, Three of Wands, Magician, Four of Cups. When you get that feeling of, hang on a minute, this is not right. Interesting, Taurus had Knight of Cups in exactly the same position. When you get that feeling of, hang on a minute, that this is not right, follow that feeling. We have the Four of Cups here with Themis, and on the other side we have the Knight of Cups with Themis. So you can be insulated from whatever this argument, discussion, debate, conflict, battle is. I do think it's your chance to be an observer. Watch it very, very, very carefully. And then we have the Lovers card with Skadi. So once you have established what that natural order is, and that is a realization that from that point of, oh, that's not right, and then it snowballs. It snowballs really, really quickly, and you have the chance of taking action to redress that balance. If you think of the terms natural order, cosmic order. It's always talking about a balance. So there may well be an opportunity for you to take some action that does not involve you in this conflict, but sets right some of the results of whatever this conflict is. Because there's hanged man on Baba Yaga here. There's a lot of confusion. And also, I want to say that I think this conflict is based more on something going away than something arriving. With Thanatos for death being clarified with the Six of Swords, I mean, I suppose you could say it's somebody coming to where you are because they believe it's a better place, but it's almost like a better place is stolen away from the people are seeing that a better place is being stolen away from them in some way, shape, or form. But whatever their efforts is, they will get their just desserts. Three of Wands with Inanna here. She's also indicating forward motion. But I worry about what ships would come in from that sort of reacting from that. We have the Knight of Swords here clarifying Hephaestus. And it is a skeleton swallowing, well, as much as he can, his own sword. There's just a sense of, there's a lot of work going towards this battle, argument, conflict, whatever, that's self-defeating, I think is the best way to put it. Self-defeating. Vihuya here offers new beginnings. And what I feel with Vihuya is, it's change if you do get involved, as I said earlier, and change if you don't. The don't get involved until your sense of balance and your sense of natural order is offended, then you will see an opportunity to take action. But I also feel with that Anubis and the magician, remember the magician can be a trickster. The magician can more often than not works in secret. So less is more. You may do a lot, but you only need to be seen to be doing a little. Whatever you do to redress that balance, it's more behind the scenes than in full view of everybody. And with all this conflict going on, that's not a bad thing, because it will save you no end of earache. Right. That's pretty much everything, Gemini. So hit that like button, share it if you want to. Subscribe to the channel while you're here, and go and watch your moon and your rising now. And also don't forget, there's the show that I did with David where we're looking at the Hellenistic astrology of the full moon. Cheers.